articles is that you have to get a lot of people on board to help you with the planning. Yeah, just talk to a lot of people. One of the people we talked to before we started this magazine was the former editor of Unilag, sister. I can't remember her name right now. Somebody can maybe in the chats. Let me put the name there. I think
Sister Aisha Animation.
Sister Aisha Animation. Yeah, she talked to us, and she was also the former editor of Kwai, maybe 1819. So one of the things you should do is talk to a lot of people. And one of the most important things in a magazine that you also need, and this one is the designer and an editor. By an editor, I don't mean. By an editor, I mean people that will read your articles and help you and correct the English and the use of grammar, because most of us are not English students. And even when we pass it through grammar, there are still a lot of errors. So if you also want to write for the magazine, one thing you can also do is, and you're not good at writing, you can also compile your write-ups and thoughts and send it to a proper writer. I mean, you pay, it will not be free, but it is worth it. So, and lastly, before I go from today, one big lesson I learned throughout this process was that normally in MSSN and many other associations, especially associations that are not NGOs, is that we try to do things without money. So one thing we should always learn to do is that we should sacrifice that money because it really makes everything smoother and faster. So thank you for this. Thank you for giving me this time. I know I've taken a lot of time, but thank you for this session, and Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, Brother Abdulhamid Utubanjo, for that comprehensive welcome note. It is indeed a great one. And from that alone, I can bet that a whole lot of us are so eager to know the content of the magazine, from the way himself and the former Amir, Brother Idowu Sadiq, gave a brief introduction on the theme of the magazine and also the challenges they faced and how they were able to overcome it, that led everybody here today to launch the magazine. So we really say a big thank you to every one of you. And we also move on to the next point on the agenda. Listening to the both of them, it's indeed a tip of the iceberg of what to expect from our seasoned guests that we have invited for today's event. The fireside chat is what we are going to be having next, and that is going to be done by four esteemed personalities in the person of Engineer Abdulgani Jawando, who happened to be a former student of Lagos State University EPE campus, studied chemical and polymer engineering from Lagos State University EPE campus. Also, he had his master's from Unilag, University of Lagos, with studying chemical engineering. From there, he became the project engineer, oil and gas at Dax Petroleum, one of the leading petroleum companies in Nigeria. And also, currently, is the managing director of Acumen Development Limited. So we welcome you to our midst, Engineer Abdulgani Jawando. Moving on, we have, I don't know if I should say sister or Mrs. Rahmat Atata. I don't know if I pronounced that right. She's a graduate of University of Ilorin, studying computer engineering. And to be honest, reading through her profile, I was indeed wowed, because even before she graduated from school, she has been loaded with experience working in different companies since 2018, while she was still a student up until now. She has experience working for NetServe Africa Limited. Also, she worked with Center for Tech, as well as FMT Foundation, which afterwards she worked with Trovela, and now she's a product designer for Softcom Limited. Indeed, we are going to be getting a whole lot of cogent information from her today. So we welcome you as well, Rahmat Atata. Moving on, we have Dr. Balkis Banire. Dr. Balkis Banire is indeed a very, very seasoned personality. She had her education as well from Lagos State University Epe campus, graduating in 2008. She studied electronic and computer engineering. From there, she had, moving on, she had a master's degree in software engineering. Okay, she had a master's in software engineering from the University of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And also she had a PhD degree in computer science and engineering from Ahmad bin Khalifa University of Doha, Qatar, where she received a full-time scholarship award. Research is centered around human capacity interaction, HCI, also autism spectrum disorder, ASD, and machine learning. So we welcome you as well, Ms. Dr. Balkis Banire. So please kindly say Teslim to the house. Dr. Balkis Banire.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Yeah, welcome you to our midst, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. All right, so moving on, we have, and last but not the least, we have Dr. Muhyiddin Muhammad. He's the founder of My Care Earth and HIT4. Indeed, he's also someone that is very, very seasoned. I read through his profile and I was quite amazed having have his foundational education in the medical field, but along the line, he moved on to becoming a professional in the tech space as well, combining two very, very powerful fields of knowledge, which is medicine and surgery, and also information technology. So that's indeed a great one, and we hope to learn a lot from you today as well. He had his bachelor of medicine and bachelor of surgery from the prestigious University of Ibadan in Oyo State. Also, he moved on to George Brown College, where he had his postgraduate degree in health informatics. Also, he had his Masters of Health Informatics from University of Toronto, and that's indeed a great one. And his work experience is quite massive. I might not be able to go through all of what he has done as regards his work, but I'll just do a quick one on that. He had his first experience as a house officer in University College Hospital, Ibadan. After that, he was a medical officer, surgery, Lagos State Health Service Commission. From there, he moved on to Saudi Arabia, where he worked in the Ministry of Health for Saudi Arabia. Then afterward, his coding surgeon began, where he had a course on free code camp, where he developed his skills cutting across SQL, Tableau, HTML, CSS, and so on. Also, he's a healthcare analyst intern, and also he works as a support analyst for EMR. Dr. Muhyiddin Muhammad, we welcome you to our midst. Kindly say Teslim to the house.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Nice to meet everyone, and I'm happy to be here.
And wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We are very much happy to receive you as well. So on that note, we'll be moving on to the session proper. Quite a number. We've heard the theme of the magazine from the editor and also the former Amir, and yet a whole lot of us will still be wondering what exactly do they mean by living above the bottom line? What exactly do we mean by the bottom line? And how exactly can we live above it? Is it something that is a must for everybody, or is it something that will just happen out of the blue? So we will open the floor to our um, to our guests today to please share their experience, to please share what they understand by living above the bottom line, to please share what the perspective of an average Muslim should be on campus as a student and also professionally. And hopefully we will learn a great deal so that we can tread the path that you guys you all have tread, and also we can become as great as you are. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much, ma. So please, the floor is open. So we'll be starting with Dr. Muhyiddin Mohammed.
Yes, thank you for having me once again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I actually struggled understanding what the bottom line meant when I was invited, and it had different interpretation for me. So is he living socially, above the bottom line, or financially, or religiously, but the bottom line, it means different things to different people. And it's also relative when you say bottom line. So it doesn't have to do with riches or you being poor. You could be very rich and still be struggling, living above that bottom line. So bottom line means different things for different people. For me personally, and I'm sure our guests here will have different experiences when it comes to what bottom line is, and for all our guests and the students as well. So personal experiences might differ. So this is very, very individualized. This refers to just me, may mean different things to different people. For me, living above the bottom line meant looking at my background, where I grew up. I grew up in a semi-slum. I lived in Orelegum. And for those who know Lagos State, just across us is Ijorabadia and Ajegunle and places like that. And growing up, I look at people who live in fact, when people ask me, where do you come from? Like, where do you live? I would usually say Surulere, because Surulere is very close to us. That's Body Thomas, Aguda, and places like that sound more fancy, as opposed to, Orelegum, which is considered a semi-slum like AJ and Badia and the rest. So, and in places like that, there's no secondary school in my community. I went to a local public school where sometimes we don't have chairs. I never went to a private school. I know people who went to private schools whose parents are very rich. My parents are, middle-class workers, just average. So we lived barely, above the bottom line. And there was not a lot of future. I look at people around me, where you see people, mentors, maybe in your street or in your area, this person is in school, that person is in school. For me, that's not the case. The people who will be mentors are like maybe bus conductors and Agbero or, things like that. There's no future really. But living above the bottom line for me meant three things. Number one, like your family, where you come from. You look at the shared values of where your family stand for. My dad is a cleric. My mom, even though she's semi-literate, did her best for us in terms of education. My family is a people who stand for value. They stand for helping others. They stand for being morally upright. So knowing where I come from was one of my source of value in terms of who I am and my identity. And secondly is my own internal values. And immediately I got into school, that also came from the community I joined, which was MSS. MSS, helped me realize what being an individual is and help define what a bottom line is. So it's something that lives in your mind, regardless of your background, and you look at where you want to be and what your own skills and potential is. So that community, so that triple background, family, my own internal self, and that community I found in the MSS, in that group, those three things helped me shape who I want to become. And that was the genesis of my journey and my vision and my own struggles And even though you don't know where you're going to become, where you're going to get to, where you're going to become, and even though you look around you, you see people who are probably more advantageous, who have been living, who do not know the meaning of a bottom line. There's no bottom line in their own definition. They have a lot of privileges, and then you see yourself, around them. A classic example was in medical school. We all know how difficult it is to get into medical school. And in medical school, you have people from different backgrounds, from the rich, senators, kids, very influential people. The IG of Nigeria, then children were in school with us, professors, kids, and then you find yourself in their midst, living with them, sharing values and competing with them. So those three things I mentioned formed what helped me propel myself in terms of knowing that, oh, my destiny lies in my hand. I have to upgrade my skill as much as possible. I have to be better than the next person who is next to me. And that's together with Allah's blessing as what has pushed me above that bottom line. So I'll stop there so that other panelists can also have chip in something. Jazakumullah.
Antum for Jazakumullahu khairan. Thank you so much for that very short and comprehensive story about your beginning and how you were able to identify what your bottom line is. It's quite interesting how you've explained your experience from living in the semi-slum of Lagos State. Anybody that lives in Lagos will know where Orile Gomo is and the kind of life they live there. And the one particular thing that got me was the fact that you had no primary school education. That's quite interesting. And for it to eventually achieve all that you have done now is indeed a great one. And also the fact that MSSN was integral in helping you identify yourself and identify your personality. It's also a good one. But the most important that I picked from your story is the fact that I said destiny lies in your hands. It's quite a very, very important one. Nobody's going to do anything for anybody except that you choose to do it for yourself. And upscaling is one of the things anybody can do for themselves. Inshallah. Thank you very much, Dr. Muhyiddin Muhammad. Before we move on to the next person, I would like to call upon the former Amir, person of Brother Sadiq Omotayo. He has a quick information for us. So please go ahead. Brother Sadiq Ido Omotayo, rather. Oh, okay. You just informed me that to proceed. All right. So on that note, we'll be moving on to Dr. Balikis Banire to please share her story as well and what our understanding of the bottom line is and how she was able to overcome it and to become who she is today, inshallah. Dr. Balikis Banire.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, and I'm really honored to be amidst you today and to talk about living above the bottom line. In reference to what Brother Muhyiddin has talked about regarding the topic, living above the bottom line, it has a relative meaning, like you have said, but above all, in terms of education, achievements, that's where I'm actually going to touch. And my experience is also similar to what Brother Muhyiddin has said in terms of your background, growing up and defining your goals. What are the things you intend to achieve, and who are the people you have mixed with? What are the ideology of people you have mixed with? Like, we have this saying that birds of the same feather flocks together. So that will actually impact your future achievements. So I'll just speak of my own story from the PDS days where I joined Lagos State University. And I was so fortunate to be among the Muslim sisters and brothers. And there's one thing that we normally do then, which is called tutorials. We have tutorials in the mosque. And from my secondary school days, what I know is that, when you're in an exam hall or things like that, There are sometimes that you don't know everything. You just let me read the part I know. When I get to the exam, I can actually ask someone to get ideas or answers from other people. So we have that at the back of our mind. But on getting to PDS, Lagos State University, we're being someone in the mosque, we do tutorials, and we're made to realize that no, it is illegal to go into an exam hall, which is even against Islamic cheating, to talk in the exam or to talk in the exam hall, or to even ask someone to help you in the exam hall. So at that point in time, it was actually difficult, but I made up my mind that no, it is what is right that should be done. And whatever topics we have been taught in class or something, I make sure that I cover all the aspects and try as much as possible to be independent, irrespective. So I think that was where I started developing that the skills of being independent, and that's really helped a lot. So there's one thing we should that is key factor we should have at the back of our mind, that we can actually do things fine. It might not necessarily be before you get to the exam, but try to get help before it gets to the time you need those skills. Try to get help to get people's ideas on how to go about things, and that will definitely help you along the line. And I would like to share some key points that should be at the back of our mind. Is that the first is we should try as much as possible to be optimistic and miss obvious challenges. Sometimes it might be that, oh, I want to go for a master's program outside Nigeria, and I have to do this exam, I have to do that exam, it's expensive, and I cannot afford to incur the cost or something, or probably prepare well and pass the exam excellently as they want in any particulars that I'm trying to apply to. So if one is optimistic and you feel that, yes, I can do it, irrespective of the challenges, people are doing it and I can do it. It's if you set that positive mind for yourself, it makes it easier for you to be able to achieve it. But if you kill yourself right from the onset, it might be difficult or challenging for you. So we should be optimistic in everything we do. So that's one of the the point I want to talk about. Then two is you have to dedicate time to learn. Fine, no one else will know you better. You know yourself, you know your weaknesses, you know your strength. So you work on your weaknesses. There are so many resources around. You talk to people, you learn from people, and then with that, I think you'll be well equipped to be able to face other challenges that will make you live above the bottom line. So we have to be ready to learn, even from the Islamic perspective. We know that learning is from cradle to grave. So as Muslims, we should keep learning, and we shouldn't be ignorant of things around us. So that's another point. So the next point is that we should be ready to sacrifice. Sometimes we don't get we don't get things, good things coming very easy or very cheap. We have to really give some sacrifices in terms of living the comfort of your own house, or probably living the comfort of your own family to like really go for what you want. There are so many instances in my own case, but I don't want to take much of our time here today. But I just want you to know that there are some stages at some point, or there'll be some point that you need to give some sacrifices, but at the same time, you need to like really weigh them to see if it's really worth it. So it does not actually come free or easy like that. So sometimes you need to be ready to sacrifice in order to live above the bottom line. And then lastly, that we should always prepare ourselves. Another point is that we should always prepare ourselves for the opportunities that come. Sometimes we'll be like, okay, this knowledge is very useful, machine learning, data science, and everything. Although I'm studying computer science, I'm studying electronics engineering, electronics and computer engineering. I don't actually know data science. I don't actually know machine. If you have the opportunity, if you have the resources, it's best for us to like really delve into it, to understand it, to know it, because there might be opportunities that will come that you might not even expect, and to give you edge over others, that because you have put extra effort in learning other things that people are not actually looking at. So that will give you an upper hand in for that kind of opportunity. So another thing I would like to mention is attitude. Attitude goes a long way. If you have all these skills and the attitude is lacking, I tell you, you get nowhere. The attitude I'm talking about is in terms of teamwork. You cannot do things alone. You have to work with people. You have to really team up with people to really achieve what your goals. So in terms of relating with people, you need to be patient. You need to understand people's psychology. You have to like treat people in a respectful manner. And if you do that, people will be willing to associate themselves with you. They'll be willing to share their knowledge and to even learn with you. So it goes a long way. And if you have that spirit of forgiveness and overlooking people's shortcomings, so with that, we'll be able to like move along with anyone and be able to work with them cordially. So above all these points, the most important thing is the rahmah and mercy of Allah. So if you have the knowledge, the skills, even living above the bottom line, it still lies with Allah. So you have to be sincere in all that you do and try as much as possible to do it in an halal way and to have good intention, not that you want to use it to like beat other of your to beat or probably like a competition that I want to be better than this person, not in terms of a negative competition, but a positive competition, and have the notion that, okay, you want to use it to like help Islam or probably help people around you and things like that. So with that, Allah will make it easier for you. Even things that you think that are very hard, are very challenging for you to achieve because of your sincerity and your attitude towards people and even to Allah, it makes it easy. So it is not by our might, it is not by what we acquire or what we have, but it's by the mercy of Allah. So I pray that Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala continue to guide us and in all our endeavors and make us make this knowledge for us useful in this life and the hereafter. Amen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, Dr. Balkis Banire, for that very, very powerful presentation. It was quite amazing. It's the way you tailored your information was quite powerful. That is having a humble beginning, just like Dr. Muhyiddin as well, and growing up in a very, very humble environment. You spoke extensively on the importance of the people that you engage with in order to identify, to quickly develop yourself, that is birds of the same feather flock together. And one very interesting thing was the fact that you did PDS in Lagos State University per campus. I also graduated from Lagos State University per campus, and I know what it's like being a PDS student, and I can tell you a whole lot has changed. And from this information, I'm very, very sure that the ESCOs of MSSM will have picked one or two information, and they will indeed work on ways to better engage the PDS students to yield more productive results. And you gave us a number of key points to look into in order to become better and to live above the bottom line. You spoke about optimism, dedication to learning, sacrifice, preparation for opportunities, attitude, most especially for teamwork, and also, and lastly, the most important thing, which is the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Jazakumullah khairan for that presentation. May Allah in His infinite mercies reward you abundantly. Inshallah. Ameen. So on that note, we'll be moving on to our next discussant in person of Engineer Abdulgani Jawandu to please move on to give us his own knowledge and also his story as regards moving above the bottom line. Thank you very much, sir. Or living above the bottom line.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I'm very happy to be here today, and I've listened to some of the discussants, and I can't but agree to most of the things that has been said. I would like to start from the basis for the discussion itself, as in bottom line in Islam. There is an hadith for those of us that are acquainted with the 40 hadith of An-Nawawi, hadith 22. That's the hadith of Jabir ibn Abdullah al-Ansari. When he went to the Prophet ﷺ to ask him, he said, Ya Rasulallah, Ara'ayta iza salaytu maktubat, wa sumtu Ramadan, wa halaltu halal, wa haramtu haram, wa lam azid ala dhalika shay'an. Now, Prophet of Allah, if I pray the 5 daily prayers and I fast in the month of Ramadan, and I take as halal what Allah has ordained, and I keep away from what Allah has forbidden, and I do not increase in any of this, will I enter paradise? And Prophet said, Nam. No, we have some scholars of hadith saying that as at the time the hadith was revealed, some aspect of Islam were yet to be legislated upon. But we know the decision in Islam is based on the law as at that time. So, but what I want us to take out of this is that the Prophet ﷺ told his companion that if he holds on to the faraid of Allah, which is the two he has mentioned apart from faith, because the other two is only subject to the condition of the person in terms of whether that is Hajj and Zakat. Hold on to those three pillars, and for the rich ones among us, the 5, and you take as Allah what Allah has made halal and keep away from what Allah has forbidden, that person will enter paradise. And that is the bottom line, which no Muslim is expected to go below. When I got the invite, I was discussing with the person that invited me, the current Amir, and I tried to understand from what angle you want me to talk. I've listened to some of this because somebody has spoken on academics, but let me just address it from the spiritual Islamic part, and that has to do with the personality of the Muslim himself. So once we understand this, most of the other things we want to discuss on the economic, on the academia, on the moral and every other thing will fall into place. Islamic scholars over the years have written about what the ideal Muslim personality should be, what his relationship with his Lord should be, relationship with his neighbor, and all sort of things like that. A lot of us read the ideal Muslim. But I want to address it from this angle. And that's the angle of the 10 characteristics of the Muslim personality. One is that he needs to have a strong ideology in anything he's doing. What Sister Balikis have just mentioned on the issue of exam, the basis of it is character and Islamic ideology. That's the only reason why they're able to accept it. That Allah is your Lord. Anything he decrees for you will happen. And part of that qadar requires that you must strive in life for everything you want to achieve. So the moment you continue to strive, knowing that victory lies with only Allah alone, that is the basis for everything you want to do in life. You as a human being, you strive, but the power to make things happen lies with Allah, who is the one and only. And the second one, the bottom line on that one is the faith itself. And the second one is the connection with the Lord. I've heard some people talk about MSS. One of the things that distinguish MSS on campus is that a rally Muslim to come together, talk about morals, talk about brotherhood, and other things like that. But in addition to that, it gives them the opportunity to worship their Lord, because this is a connection between them and their Lord at least 5 times a day, and also at other times that Islam has prescribed. So that's in the area of Salat and other ibadah. Such a personality must at least try to achieve minimum and above it. After the 5 daily salawat, which is the bottom line for that, you have other things, tajud and other things, salat to dua, that someone is also expected to do. Then the third one I want to talk about is the physical strength of a Muslim. Islam wants us to be strong. And all the work we want to do, even our own employment, if you are not strong, mentally strong, physically strong, you might not be able to achieve much. So all the things that will affect our physical strength and our mental strength, Islam wants us to keep away from them. Then the fourth one is that personality is one that strives against his own soul. He has control over his soul. He's not the one that the soul will direct him to go and do evil, and he'll go ahead and do it. Like in Surah to Yusuf, Allah said, "Wama ubari'u nafs, inna nafsa la amaratun bisu." So his own soul is not one that will always command him to do evil. He has control over that. Then the fourth one, or the fifth one, is that he must be conscious of his time. Sister Balikis also mentioned, I'll reference that again about preparing for exam. I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of young brothers and also assign them to some PhD holders for those that are going for PhD. But one thing that I see in a lot of people is that they hardly have time to go through the rigor of qualifying to get admission in some of those or get scholarship. But that time is spent on some other frivolities, sitting down, gisting, watching football matches on a weekend for up to 6-8 hours and other things like that. So that Muslim personality, the minimum a Muslim is expected to do as part of his personality is that he must be time conscious. Dedicate his time for what will benefit him in this life and in the hereafter. Then the sixth one is that he must be organized in all his affairs. He's in school now. By the time he's finishing school, or even while in school, what are the things that he can take? I've seen a lot of people that study data science. Some of them are in three, and they are making some halal money online. So, and other types of knowledge that he or she can acquire while in school. And he is also at the same time planning for, okay, by the time I finish school, I want to go for service, I want to settle down. Who is the kind of person I want to settle down with? What kind of place do I want to work? What family do I want to raise? He plans all these things to the details. Then the seventh one is that he must be able to fend for himself, to provide for himself. And when he has a family, to also provide for that family. A Muslim family is not a beggar family. It's not a man that will bring a woman into the house as a wife and he will be struggling. One can struggle on his own, but you don't have to suffer another man's child. Then number 8 is that he must be exemplary in character. Anywhere he is, he represents Islam. And everybody will attest to the fact that no, is Ibrahim Masud that said that? If he has said that, then that is the truth. So those are the character that is expected of us as Muslims. Then the 9th one is that he should be civilized in his thoughts. When he talks, he's talking from an informed point of view. When he discusses from an informed point of view. When he criticizes in a civilized manner. Not most of the kind of things we have on social media today, where people are ready to abuse each other's father and mother just because they are behind the keyboard. Then the last one is that why he has achieved all this, or why he's doing all this for himself, he also needs to give back to the society by ensuring that most of the things he has learned in terms of the morals, in terms of the academics, like while we were in school, some people volunteered their time to be teaching others extramural classes. Some people volunteered their own money. I remember in LASU-EPE, that was in 1998, I think 98 or 99 Ramadan. We had a situation whereby there was no money again. And one of us quickly went home, spoke to his father and came back. And for the last 15 days of Ramadan, if I remember correctly, that was 1999. The money his father gave him was enough to cook for everybody throughout the month of Ramadan, throughout the remaining 15 days. So that's part of being beneficial to us. So anytime Allah raises your standard in life, try to raise the standard of others. Try to help people and try to make people benefit from you. It might be in terms of knowledge, it might be in terms of finance, it might be in terms of physically helping them to do one or two things. It might be in terms of academics. So These 10 characteristics I've enumerated form the bottom line of what the personality of a Muslim should be. I don't know if I have much time. Mr. Moderator. Hello.
Hello, sir. Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much. Thank you very much, sir. You still have more to share.
Okay, thank you very much.
He's not done yet.
Well,
Okay.
I actually don't know how much time I have because I don't have spent as much time as the last speaker.
Oh, okay. For that, we would give you the grace of 2 more minutes, sir.
Okay. So the other thing I also want to talk about is, as students, while we're in school, a lot of us do struggle. And when I came in, I heard the brother talking about where he lived in Orile Gomo. I have a similar beginning, and to the glory of Allah, I lost my dad when I was leaving primary 6. So I have to struggle through life. I'm saying this because we may have among us somebody that is struggling with finances, struggling with how to cope in school. But one thing I'll tell you is that you just continue to never give up and continue to try your best. By the time I finished secondary school, I was thinking about how am I going to survive when I get to the university. So immediately after secondary school, I learned electrical works from one company called Itumic Nigeria Enterprise. The owner of the company happens to be my neighbor. So I enrolled there, and while in school, I was doing electrical work and sustaining myself. Within that period too, the lucrative trade of Misebo and Tokwa was also there. For those who know me in EPE, in my final year, I was selling wares. So we'll go to Kutonu just to survive. And then I was still a student. So by the time it was time for NYSC, I'll tell people I had enough money to fly a plane. That was Nigeria Airways then. I think the cost was about 5,400 from Lagos to Adamawa State. So 5,400 in year 2000 is not a small money. But this is somebody that went into the university with very little hope, just hoping on Allah to guide him, work towards achieving 1 or 2 skills. It might not be electrical that you want to achieve it. I've mentioned data science. I've mentioned some other courses in the ICT area. And for those of us who are in the CPE, I think we are still doing mechanical. It's still 3 courses. I'm not sure it has increased. So there are some other things that we can also be doing while as undergraduates, like process modeling, which we can get some PP to also do once the oil and gas industry or the press industry is booming. So some of the, why I'm saying this is that just to encourage those of us that may be struggling through life, not to give up, that if you continue to work, if you continue to strive, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to crown your efforts. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan, sir, for that very, very emotional presentation. It was quite powerful. Coming from the religious point of view, it's indeed a nice one. You laid a lot of emphasis on the spirituality of the person. That is, faith should actually be the bottom line of an average Muslim. Laying emphasis on spirituality in the areas of tajud and salatul dua and the likes. Also physical and mental strength, which is also very, very key. Striking against one's soul, time consciousness, and fending for himself. I'm a little bit particular about the fact that you said that a man can actually suffer but should not suffer the one he is with. That's quite deep. That's interesting, and shows that we should also imbibe a level of selflessness. Also imbibe the sense of responsibility. That is, taking up the responsibility of our family, regardless of however it's whatever condition we find ourselves. Also, you spoke about exemplary in character, being civilized in thoughts, and giving back to the society. So it was indeed a great one. Jazakumullah khairan, sir. And also a quick information, the number of departments in the Faculty of Engineering has increased now. So we now have aerospace. Also, we have civil engineering as well. So thank you very much, sir. Thank you for that presentation. It was indeed a great one. So without wasting much of our time, we'd like to inform each and every one of us to quickly put down our questions so that immediately after this session, we'll be moving to the question and answer session, and we'd like to make it a very, very fast one. So let us all put down our questions now, so that by the time we get to that session, it's going to be a very, very easy one. So on that note, we'll move on to the next and the last person for this fireside chat, which is Rahimat Atata, a product designer from Softcom Limited. So Ms. Rahima, please, you have the floor now.
I'm so happy to be here today. I'm very honored to be in the midst of this great, literally like the least person with the least. As much as I really enjoyed like listening to everybody, a little bit of my experience also. Thank you for inviting me, by the way. So I'm a product designer. Also, I schooled in University of Ilorin, and funny enough, like I just finished. Like I really don't have much experience, life experience, as like the speakers that have like spoken earlier. So yeah, I'd like to just share a little bit. I don't have much to say. So the first thing I would say is like growing up, I didn't, and like I mean, like I'm one of the most unserious person in my family. I mean, like I literally just take everything for like I just take everything not like too. By the way, so sorry for the break. So I didn't really have everything like figured out. Study. I literally wanted to study computer science in school, but something relating to like whether tech or computer. Oh, that I'm trying to be lazy, that I should go for engineering and I was like, oh, since anything that is relating, but I had so much doubt in myself that I'm not going to get in at first or but anyways, by Allah's grace, I got to study computer engineering, which is like I don't know, probably in Nigeria. So one thing about engineering, I don't know if it's common in learning, like engineering is dominated by men. This is whereby you have like 100 guys and you have like 20 ladies in class. For me, it was like more like 20, 70 guys. There's this course, mathematical engineering. They have just 4 girls and they have like over 40 guys. Mostly dominated by men, and I feel like one thing, it is like the guys is a guy course that you should not as a lady. One, it is very hard and all. I think one live like above the was above like the baseline basically is that who say, oh, it is hard, or oh, in it. Oh, you have to study a lot. Oh, it is very hard. Like, all those things that people say that, before you even start something, the fear is already in you. You don't even know the experience that you feel. You don't even know where saying, oh, it is hard. Oh, it's not a course that you're supposed to study. You already have like that mindset if I go for it. So anyways, to cut my long story short, I became very serious. I think one thing that got me, like I thought it was still secondary school life. I started with a mindset, real free mindset that, oh, like, it's just like, you read a day to the exam and then you pass, like, the secondary school mindset. But like after I saw my first semester result, I was like, oh God, this is not it at all. And then I just buckled up and then I became very serious, right, academically. Then at a point I started thinking about, okay, oh, so now that I'm studying computer engineering, I mean, like the major reason why I went was because I wanted to be an hacker. In a way, I was influenced by a movie that I watched, so I wanted to be an hacker. But like after like first semester, second semester, we were doing mathematics, physics, all those things. Like when are we going to start the interesting part of like tech and all? So it didn't happen, and I was just like, oh, so what am I supposed to do with my life? I mean, like the major reason why I'm studying this course, to do something more practical, because let's not lie to ourselves, most of the things that we do in Nigeria, especially courses like engineering, even medicine, I think we do more of theory like than the practical aspect itself. So I think one thing that really helped or shaped my career in a way, like for me to be here today, was the fact that I moved with very interesting people, right? People that really helped me. So I noticed that, oh, we were not doing what I really wanted to do. I started looking for people that I know that have this. We see ourselves like where we want to, like we are what we are doing in school. It's one thing to be very serious in school and be that, okay, what is the next step after school? And I think that's so. I was, before we even went for IT, I was thinking of, okay, so what am I going to do my IT in somewhere I can, earn money and also have a skill. I mean, like getting practical experience in something that I like in my career, basically. Right. So what I did was, that was when I knew, that was back in 2018. I knew about LinkedIn, and I set up my account. I started reaching out to people, because I don't know if we are all like, like one of the field that is actually booming, and is one field that you can work value, still help people, work with anybody, have like not even dream of, connect with people that that on a normal day you can't. So that was what I did during my IT period, in which I can just like get the experience that I need. I know that I'm not going to get in some of the jobs that I've done. Like I was not even paid for them. Like I just did because I know that by the time I get the experience, people will be willing to pay to what really happened. Right. Okay. 10 seconds. All right. So that was just like basically it for me. That was, and eventually when I finished school, like um final year, I got a full-time job. I didn't really stress that much, because I mean I've already show for it. I have like a portfolio. So for people that while you are still in school, if you're a student, I think you should start thinking about you can help yourself when you finish school in Nigeria. Like there's no job that as a student, there's something or there's a job that is opportunity for ourselves. So if you want to go into tech and go into now, you can go into, and product marketing, product management, product design. It doesn't even require you to like do anything. All you need to do is be connected to internet and be consistent. And I think that is very important also. Continue to let people know what you are doing, talk about it, say like, wherever I go, wherever I find myself, I try to talk about what I do. And then, so thank you so much for having me. I think that I would put this.
Thank you very much for that session. Okay, I'm moving on to the question and answer session. I think we've heard from Dr. Muhyiddin Mohammed, who spoke about community values, and he told us about how he grew up from the slums and how he made it to where he is now. And Dr. Balkis Banire, who spoke about living above the bottom line from the education aspect. We heard from Engineer Abdulgani Jawando, who spoke about the bottom line from the aspect of religion, and of course, Sister Raimat Atata. So please, would like to take in questions.
Yeah, so if there's anyone that has a question, kindly type your question in the chat box, so we'll read it out to the discussants. While we await the question from the listeners, we'd like to quickly raise up something very, very, very important. We are indeed grateful to our discussant, one, for having to be a part of the magazine itself by contributing to the content of the magazine, and also we also appreciate them for being a part of our fireside discussant chat. So also we are going to be requesting one more big thing from them, because all of what we've done is indeed a great work, and it is also very, very financially demanding. It has its own very big financial implications. And we want to appeal to our discussants, and also want to reach out to them to let us know how much they are going to be contributing to this cause in order to launch this magazine today, which is going to be indeed a very, very good one, and it's going to be very, very pivotal in the process of launching this magazine. So we'd like to put that to our discussant to know, to hear from them, how do they intend to help us launch the magazine financially. So we'll go to Dr. Muhyiddin Mohammed.
$100.
$100. Kabirullah, Allahu Akbar, Jazakumullah. Jazakumullah khairan for that. We really, really, really appreciate. May Allah in His infinite mercies continue to reward you. Ameen. All right, so Dr. Balkis Banire.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I would just like to ask a question. How is your budget? As in, what's your budget for the magazine?
Oh, okay, I think Brother Sadiq Ido can come in that regard. Either Brother Sadiq or the editor-in-chief.
The editor knows the budget.
All right, so editor, please, can you quickly give us an information as regards the budget?
All right. So regarding the amount of copies want to print, we actually want to print as much as possible, and would like to print like maybe around 50, and that should cost us maybe anything around. I don't have the specifics yet because I calculated for another price. Maybe around 300, I think. Yeah. So
Sorry?
I'm thinking it should be around 300,000. Yes,
Okay,
I think that's
300,000.
yes.
Okay. All right. I'll make my own donation, but I would like to make it unannounced. I can message the director and the message. I can send a message to a private chat to the editor after this program or during this program. Is that fine?
All right, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very fine, sir. It's very fine, ma'am. Thank you very much. We really, really appreciate it. So on to Engineer Jawando. We know you've always been our father. We always reach out to you at every point in time. But nonetheless, Yorubas will say, so I'd like to put it to you as well. How much will you be committing to this course? Engineer Jawando, stay with us. All right, sir.
I've already notified the Amir.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir. Really, really appreciate that. May Allah continue to replenish and increase in your wealth, sir. Also, on to Ms. Rahima Atata.
Okay, I would also like to speak with whoever is in charge of. I guess I will just not announce anything. Yeah.
All right. It's noted. Jazakumullah khairan. Thanks to everybody. May Allah in His infinite mercies continue to increase us in wealth and in health. Ameen. Jazakumullah khairan. So, how many questions do we have so we can move on with time? Okay, we have one question from Mikhail Miriam Adenike. Says, going into tech world, what does it entail? Are you directing the question to any of the discussants, or you're throwing it to the house? Mikhail Miriam Adenike. Okay, another question while we wait for Mikhail Adenike, another question just came in. To all the speakers, according to what you've all said, are you presently living above the bottom line? Wow, it's quite an interesting one. So to the speakers, Dr. Muhyiddin Mohammed, please can you help us answer the question?
Assalamu
alaikum.
Yeah, before I answer the question, there are 2 points I just want to quickly raise. One thing we don't often talk about. Okay. So that's Cyril, listen to me, sorry. Okay. One subject that we often don't talk about is failures. So failures is part of, living above the bottom line or getting above the bottom line. I like to always personalize these things because sometimes when we talk about failures, it seems to be conceptual, like something, but it's real. So it starts from, even getting into school. Personally, for myself, I wanted to study medicine. I failed. I got into Unilag to study biology. I had to try again. In medical school, I experienced failures. I failed exams. I almost didn't graduate in my final year because I failed an exam. So failure, when I went to Saudi Arabia, the first interview I had, I failed. It was the following year. And then they came back again and I did the interview and then I passed and went to Saudi Arabia. My master's program, my first attempt, I failed, when I applied. It was on the second attempt that I got in. So failure is part of, the struggle, getting above that bottom line. And it's something we don't talk about often, being able to manage failures. So when we fail in anything, please don't give up, just try again. I'm looking for the right support. The second point I wanted to mention is about When you look at some people like that join clubs like Lions Club, what's the one, Rotary Club, and those other clubs, they come out, I see a lot of them here in North America, and they have a lot of soft skills like, leadership skills, critical thinking, communication skills. And MSS gives you much more, but we don't usually know how to channel those skills. Being part of MSS, being an ESCO, or even a member, you learn a lot of skills like leadership, critical thinking, problem solving. But we don't usually know how to, translate those skills and put them on our resume and talk about them. We just feel like it's religious. It's not just religious. There are also skills that we can transfer into our workspace and our professional life. So all those skills we are getting from MSS, let's always look at how we can channel them appropriately. So going back to the question, going into tech, you need mentorship. It's like any other field. It's so huge, it's so wide. There are many areas of tech, cybersecurity, software development, machine learning, AI, so web design, front-end development, UI, UX, it's very huge. So having a mentor will not allow you to waste so much time. That's number one. Number two is YouTube now, online, there are a lot of things you can learn online. So you can start looking around and seeing areas that you're interested in, start learning a few things. There are a lot of free courses online, EDX. There's a computer science course called CSC50 or something like that from Harvard. It's very popular. It's free online that you can take. You have free code camp. You have Odin projects. So all of those places are places you can start with and start learning some IT skills. Am I living above the bottom line? Alhamdulillah, I think I am. Like I said, it's relative. It's whatever you define for yourself. But so far, so good. I think I'm living a little bit above the bottom line. But then we're always striving to, attain more, to get more, to improve ourselves professionally. I am going into the startup world. A startup world is another bottom line. So I consider myself being in the bottom when it comes to the startup industry, trying to create a solution that will help people and that will create social impact. So, like I said, bottom line is very relative, whatever you define for yourself. But alhamdulillah, for my present situation. Jazakumullah.
Okay, there's a question for Engineer Jawandu. I've heard that you've done several businesses. What has been your greatest problem encountered? Has all those businesses been sustainable? Engineer Jawandu.
Well, by several, maybe I would say in total I've registered about 5 businesses, but not that I've run 5 businesses. Some were jointly done with some brothers and sisters, while there are some that are more like family business. But the two I run currently, Acumen Farms Ventures and Acumen Development Limited. The 2 businesses are still running. The joint one was closed in 2018. So I think I just go straight to the issues. I think one of the main issues we've had is the personnel issues, as in the lack of skill sets, basic skill sets, and some of the other things Dr. just mentioned now. Some of the things that MSS gives us the platform to learn, critical thinking, problem-solving skills, and other things like that. So then the second one is dishonesty. A lot of people you hire, especially in the industry, the poultry industry, because it's different from the poultry industry. The other company is an engineering company. We're into construction. That one, if you are lazy, you'll be fired. We can easily get a replacement for you because the industry has been around for so long and there are a lot of skilled people around. But for the farm, which has been the major challenge has been on the issue of the personnel. And like I do tell people, fund is not always the first issue to be solved. There are a lot of technical issues The technical issues too will also fall under the personnel, because there are some people, animal scientists. I'm into poultry anyway. That's the aspect of farming that I'm into. So the animal scientists that you're going to hire, even some of the vet doctors, wrong diagnosis, and a lot of labs that also do some sharp practices. So the technical side and also the personnel side, those are the areas where we have issues mostly. Until recently, the high inflation, the high cost, and the lower standard of living. So once that happens, your product is not among the key things that people can decide to give their children jollof rice without fish, meat, or egg. So if that happens, it affects the market. So I would say the two main challenges has been the area of personnel and technical support. So those are the two. But inflation comes and go. When the economy improves, people will have more money to buy things.
All right, thank you very much, Jazakumullah Khairan, for that insight in your business. Okay, there's another question to Ajia Rahima. How best is the approach to get into product design, self-learning, or learning from a design school? Which is better? Ajia Rahima.
Yeah, it depends on. Can you hear me? Salam alaikum.
Yes, like Sam said.
Okay. So I think it's how fast you learn to learn on their own, but go through like a design school, because yeah, you have like team to follow. You would have like like friends to talk to design with. It's like easier when you have like people the same thing. It's just like when we go to school. Imagine during COVID, I think most of us find learning kind is virtual, but like going, I think you won't have like somebody to like push you, because basically be making your own rules. So like through a design school and all advice.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you for that quick information. I believe the question has been answered. Now, thank you all for being a part of this session. So I would call upon the former Amir of Lagos State University, MSSN, Ekpe Campus, in person of Brother Idowu, so to quick give us an appreciation message.
Yes, yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so very briefly, I just wanted to re-emphasize on how delighted we are to have Engineer Jawandu, Sister Rahimat, Dr. Balkis Banire, and lastly, Dr. Muhyiddin Muhammad to be on this session. I know how busy these personalities are, and despite their schedule, and despite the fact that we got across to them very late, they still acknowledged our invite, and they say us are worthy enough to aid to our call. We pray Allah Almighty bless them and count their efforts as an act of worship. Yeah, so we just want to re-emphasize how delighted we are, and their support towards this magazine launch, right from all that I've highlighted earlier. And we also want to acknowledge the presence of some highly regarded personalities. One of them, like Engineer Ido Ibrahim, Mr. Rashid Abari, and quite a number of them that are currently on the call. We really appreciate their presence, and we are really delighted to have them on this call. So I know for sure that most of our guests or fireside discussants would pull off from the call any moment from now. We just want to give a resounding appreciation text to them. Jazakallah khair.
Jazakumullah khairan, khairun jazaihi, kama jazal awwalin. Thank you very much for that session. So inshallah bi kudrati, a whole lot of time has been spent, but yet there's still a whole lot to cover. So we are going to be moving very, very, very fast now. And we are going to be having the interlude session now, where we are going to be having a Kahoot game just to relieve and unwind a little and to impute a level of excitement to the session. So
yes, so before the count, sorry, before the count, yeah, we MSN LASU-EPE is a big association to LASU-MEGA, and we have a number of LASU-MEGA alumni currently on the call, alumni rather, because there are more than one. So we also want to push to them any amount they would be sponsoring the event with, no matter how little it is. The more money we raise, the more reach we have. Currently, we are very sure with Allah's Rahman, Allah's blessings upon us, we were able to come up with a lot of content that surrounds all that our speakers have said regarding understanding people's bottom line and exposures to several global opportunities. Everyone that launched the magazine, inshallah, we are going to get across a hard copy of the magazine to them. I don't know for sure for those in Canada, and I know Dr. Balkis Banere in, I think, Qatar. I don't know how we can get that across, but definitely we'll reserve a copy for them. Yeah, so we want to kindly request engineer Ido Ibrahim as well to say an amount we would want to launch the magazine with. The more money we raise, the more copies we print, and the more reach we have for the magazine. Yeah, so we want him to just launch the magazine also with any convenient amount. I guess engineer Ibrahim though probably is not probably closer to his phone. So yeah, I think that's for now. Probably okay. Oh, I think probably he couldn't mute himself. He couldn't unmute. Can the technical team kindly unmute engineer Ibrahim? Okay, he said he will revert, inshallah. Exactly. And equally, Mr. Rashid Abari.
Mr. Rashid Abari, we are waiting for your response.
Okay, probably it turns out probably they are not closer to their phone. So we'll just proceed with the event. Yeah, moderator, you can please go on.
All right, so the technical team should please share their screen and launch the Kahoot game. It's going to be a short one. So I believe a whole lot of us understand the procedure to playing Kahoot. So we go onto the website. Can somebody?
I want to believe you can see my screen.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can.
We'll have just 1 minute more to join.
All right, so 40 seconds more, 30 seconds more, 20 seconds more, 10 seconds more, 5, 6, no, sorry, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I think that's enough. You can actually start now. We have 13 persons. Do you still have people that want to join?
I think we should still, maybe we can just get 15 participants.
All right, then. So we wait till we get 15. We have 2 more persons to go. It may look interesting. All right, I have 1 more person to go. One more person. All right, Idris. I think that's, so we can start now. That's quite fast. Interesting. All right, the next question.
Question. No, I cannot see the question.
Yeah, it's showing on the screen. It's on the screen. It's very, very, very clear. Interesting. Amazing Prof is leading the race at the moment. Loved it. Oh. Okay. Those are the interesting.
I'm sharing the bed the moment. I know. I don't know.
Taking the lead now. I must not miss this one. I've already missed 2 already. Wow.
Well, this is bueno.
So while the game is on, we want to announce the presence of our keynote guest, our keynote speaker, in person of Ambassador Dr. Abiodun Shoemimo. Yeah, we really acknowledge his presence, and once the game is off, we'll get to have a feel of who exactly he is by introducing him officially.
Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome, sir. That's a tough one.
Sadiq, are you there?
Yes, sir.
I'm here.
Can I start? Can I
Yes,
proceed?
sir.
We have just currently there's a quiz ongoing and a question left. After that, we would introduce the Marisa.
Okay.
Okay, we can see that Ford is leading the way. What is the capital of Niger State? Wow, 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 wow. I hope there's not going to be, okay, let's see what comes up. Let's see how many of us remember our state and capital from primary
Some
school.
of us will have to read it from beginning.
Minna, Niger, Minna, Abuja. All right. Wow. So I'm actually on the second position. Interesting. Is that all? So soon? Okay, this is the last question. Let's see if I can overtake the first person. Okay. Interesting. Engineers coming in the third position. Oh, actually came second, Budo. And our winner for today's Kahoot is the standard. Wow, thank you very much. That was indeed an interesting one. So inshallah, Bikudrati, after the entire session, the winner is going to be is going to receive his prize for coming first in the interlude session. Thank you very, very much. So without wasting much of our time, I think we need to move on to the next point on the agenda. So the technical team, kindly drop down the Kahoot page and let's go back to the main page. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for partaking in the Kahoot session. Third time we move on to the next point of the agenda. All right, so while we are with the technical team, Brother Sadiq Ido Wamatayo, please quickly take us through the citation of our keynote. Okay. All right. I guess I might have to do that.
Okay, let me just quickly comment. I think yeah, so as earlier when we started the Kahoot game, our keynote speaker came in. That was Ambassador Dr. Abiodun Shuemimo. He is currently the CEO and founder of Capital Metrics Swift Bank, equally the founder and CEO of iNet Telecommunication, also currently the CEO and founder of Infometric Data Network. He is a well-versed personality and one of those persons that they are promoting Islam, and they have a high level of achievement globally in terms of socials, academics, career, professionalism, and representing the whole Nigeria, whole African continent in several occasions. So he's someone that a lot of us look forward to, and having him on board equally when we're having a magazine launch. And it happens that the magazine team is living above the bottom line. So I think currently, if there's someone on this call that is looking towards getting better in terms of being professional, in terms of having a lot of establishments, I equally forgot to keep this in that he is a business mogul, having several businesses cutting across telecommunication, IT, and several other important sectors in the country. So someone like that, when it comes to career achievements, we could all say that he has really achieved a lot, and he's all most of us are looking forward to. Having him on board is quite a very special privilege to currently have him to give a keynote speech on the team itself, living out the bottom line. So he has just a very few minutes to share something across, and I'm hopeful that we are ready to pin down some things that he would share across with us. So I have that more reserved privilege to announce Ambassador Abiodun Shoyimo to proceed. Yeah, thank you very much, sir.
All right, sir. Thank you very much. Ambassador, please, we would like to have you now, sir. You're on mute if you are speaking, sir. I'm not sure the ambassador is on the call.
Yes, I think he dropped off from the call. I think he needs to attend to something. I would get across. So while he joins, we would proceed with other events.
All right. Ambassador, we would like to move on with the next program. Okay, the ambassador is with us now. I can see he's on the group. He's on the
Good afternoon.
On the platform now. Yeah, good afternoon, sir. We are pleased to have you, sir.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. So can I proceed?
Yes, sir, you can.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I really appreciate this initiative, and this actually puts a big smile on my face. Once again, that actually something good and something great can come out of Africa if you young people come together the way you've done. And it is hope for us that we'll build the Nigeria and Africa that we actually want. I really want to encourage you all that collaboration is the new innovation. It takes one generation to plant a seed. It takes another generation to water the seed. It takes another generation to pluck out of the seed. So I believe we should move forward together and create in all our areas of endeavors and create something as a form of export, either be knowledge, innovations, educations, that the whole world will be accepted worldwide, and the whole world can know that something good will actually come out of we Black people. Because like I always say, my major focus is to continue to put the Black human race at the forefront of the global economy by building a knowledge and skill-based society with financial inclusion. That's about what led me to setting up a bank for our young people. And we try as much as we could to support SMEs, small, medium enterprise. We give out loans to young people, student loans that is even more focused on education in the areas of fresh graduate that is looking at doing his or her master's abroad. We support and contribute our own quota in that area. So on this note, to not take you all time, on behalf of myself and my company, I will be launching the magazine with a sum of 150,000 naira. So you guys can distribute across other universities, and as a form of appreciation. I appreciate what you're doing. By the special grace of Almighty Allah, we'll do more than this. Thank you very much for having me. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, sir. We really, really appreciate your presence, sir. We are indeed grateful, and we promise that the money will be used judiciously in order to make enough copies of the magazine and also distribute it across other institutions in Lagos State so that we all can learn from the content of the magazine. Thank you very much, sir. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. Have a good day.
Yes, sir. All right, that was a very, very short and comprehensive one. We give thanks to our keynote speaker, Ambassador Shuarimo Abiodun, for coming in to quickly launch the magazine, as well as making a financial commitment as well. So we'd like to move on to the next agenda. And it up from here. Fadila, are you there?
Yeah, so before we move into the next agenda, it's very important we just create a little time to present some pages of the magazine, because we still have some of those key discussants on the call and equally the keynote speaker. So just like a brief show of what exactly the magazine look like, and inshallah we'll be getting a copy of the magazine to each person that launched it with a certain amount. Yeah, so because I know they might drop off from the call any moment from now. I think they already did. And currently the session was meant to probably run us through how we can get to access the copy of the magazine, because we would make available the soft copy of the magazine to everyone. So perhaps we can just have that pending till the next session, or we can do that now. I don't know if the technical team is ready for that currently. I don't know if they're ready for that. If they are not, so we can move to the next agenda and have that come after the next session.
All right, so we need a quick confirmation from the technical team. Are they ready to run us through how to access the magazine, or we move on?
Please, let's kindly move on. You get back to your data.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So Sister Fadila, please, let's move on to the next session, which is the poems and spoken word. Sister Fadila on the call. All right.
Yes, alaikum. All right.
Alaikum salam.
Would like to call on Sister Popola Aisha, popularly known as Jana Striver, to come help us, to come recite a poem for us. Is Sister Aisha on the call? Sister Aisha.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, Sister Barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You're welcome.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Popola Aisha. Be with me in the next 3 minutes while I read a poem to you all. The first one says, virginity is dignity. That one thing that gives you confidence and make you prominent. Virginity is one thing that beautifies you beautifully. That thing that treasure you without being pressured. But then, what does all this dignity turn into now? It turns vanity, that we did not even care to lose sanity. Now we offer our respectability for perishability. We are all sucked. Life sucks. How do you express yourself when you're down? Did I just hear someone throwing that question back at me? Basically, I cry. Like literally, I cry over everything. I cry to my satisfaction, but then not to myself or any of Allah's creature. I cry to Allah because it's definitely going to wipe away my tears. Let's say a short story. Nobody. How do you feel when your mates are doing better than you? Me, I feel great because all that matters to me is whom I am today, because I am definitely better than yesterday, which shows how great I am moving similarly. I ain't in competition with no one. I just want to be a better person. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you for listening.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Jazakallah khairan for that beautiful poem by Jana Striver. Would like to call on Baki Musa to give us spoken words.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa barakatuh.
I hope you all can hear me clearly.
Yes, we can.
Okay. I'll be presenting a spoken word on eulogy to my Ummah, and it goes thus. Glad tidings to those whose inferiority complex is their motivation to superiority, to Ummah, who serve nothing but exceptional quality. Their vocal and attire doesn't collide with that of a mediocrity. To those whose deen is worthy of attention and notability, my Ummah of superiority, who is always proud of Al-Islam, the religion of perfection, which houses personalities of distinction, who owns a people with great extent of positive transformation, the Ummah, which inshallah will not end in destruction. Eulogy to that Ummah, whose faith can't be compromised with shirk, to the Ummah, who finds a way to keep up the Iman even after tribulations, to the Ummah, who does not subscribe to the vice of Kala, Daju, or Jumashi transfer, extremely beautiful with that veil that symbolizes pity, to those whose love for a fellow brother can't be bought with jeopardy. Eulogy to the Most High, who has placed an abode of greatness to my Ummah, and glad tidings to my Ummah, who is too frugal to give up. Thanks for listening. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Wow, powerful words from Brother Abdubaki. Thank you very much for having that session with us. May Allah continue to increase your knowledge and also continue to bless each and every one of us. Amen. So I don't know if the technical team are ready to go on now. If not, we'll move on to the next agenda. Please, we would like to have quick response if they are ready to go now. All right, so without wasting much of our time, we'll be moving on to the next point of call, which is the writer's discourse. We have a whole lot of people create content for the magazine that we are launching today, and reading through those contents, we find some content quite amazing and very, very powerful. I would like to have an insight to the personality of those persons. That's why we've created this session, which is the writer's discourse, to identify a number of the writers from the magazine to share their insights and the motivation and also the reasons behind their write-ups in the magazine, so as we can learn, and also it will arouse our expectation, and also it will awaken our interest in securing one of the magazines in order to learn more. Thank you very much. So we welcome Brother Abdulbasit Abdusalam. Also we welcome Brother Abdulaziz, Sister Amdalat Antonio, and Lawal Simbiat to please come in and have the next session with us, which is the writer's discourse. Thank you very much. So kindly unmute yourself. Brother Abdulbasit Absalam, are you with us? I think they are unable to unmute themselves.
Yes, I'm with you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How about Abdulaziz?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Sister Amdala Antonio, how about you?
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And lastly, Sister Lawal Simbiat. Give it us. Sister Lawal Simbiat. All right.
Yeah, while we await them, sorry, we just got the notice that we have a highly distinguished personality on the call, and that's Mr. Jude Usipu. I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. I'm sorry about that. So a current R&D and QHSE manager who is currently on the call. Really appreciate his presence, and we are really delighted to have him join us for the virtual launch. You are really welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. It's been a wonderful time of listening to all the discussants. I really picked one or two things myself, and I wish the association a great success in the launch. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. We really appreciate your kind words, sir. All right, so we'll call on Brother Abdulbasit Abdusalam to please unmute himself and give us his presentation.
Okay, now, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh once again. I am Abdubasit Abdusalam, and and in the magazine, first of all, I want to appreciate the organization for setting up this kind of initiative. And it is actually very important for us to have something to pass on to the next generation, or something to pass on to people as a source of pristine knowledge. And I am happy to have contribution in the magazine. I wrote a piece, an article, and as well as a poem. So the article is titled "Success on the Path to Knowledge," and I brought insights from the story of Musa and Khidir. Musa والسلام, and Khidir, the story we know in Surah Al-Kahf. I brought insights from that story to share how students, or how every one of us as youth, can tread the path to knowledge, and how knowledge is important. Musa والسلام, he converged the people and he told them that he's the most knowledgeable of them all. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to teach him that Allah, has absolute knowledge, and wherever you think your own knowledge stop might be the starting point of another person. So Allah introduced him to Khidir, and he learned from Khidir as well. So majorly I do lessons from that story, and I up on 4 important principles that can help students gain knowledge. I will mention 2, and I hope you will find out the remaining 2 in the magazine. The first one is consistency, and we all can agree that consistency is a very tough thing to do, but with assurance from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that whoever strives will always get reward. Whoever strives will get the result. And consistency is one of the proven factor for success. I share that insight, and also that taqwa, the fear of Allah, can also aid one on the path to knowledge, and it's also one of the key factors that can help one get knowledge and be knowledgeable. And we all know that as students, we actually want to amass the most knowledge we need to compete globally, not with our local market, but to compete globally with the rest of people, the rest of people in the world. So that I shared in my article. And also my poem was titled "The Sleep of a Noble Man." And we all know that every one of us, we go to sleep at night, but that sleep is also, like scholars of Islam would categorize it. It is like a mini death, because when you are asleep, there's nothing you know about again, except until if Allah wills, return your soul back to you. So I make it. I shared in that article that there are some things that would make you sleep like a noble man, and that is identifying the favors of your Lord, and be in constant remembrance with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I hope this will benefit the Ummah and every other person that reads this article. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So thank you very much for that great insight. We really, really appreciate. So moving on to the next person now, we would have Brother Abdulaziz to please come forward to give us his own presentation. And kindly note, because of time is fast spent, we'll be giving you 2 minutes to give us your inspiration and motivation behind your article. Thank you very much. So, Brother Abdulaziz, please go on.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, I would like to appreciate the entire mind and brain behind this magazine. And also, I would like to tender an apology for my late response in submitting what I was asked to write, or what I submitted rather. They had to send message, call before I could do that. I'm very sorry about that. Now, I did a question and answer section, which has to do with the bottom line, and that will be found on the magazine. So let me just go straight to what I felt I had to share that I did, which I titled, "Who Are You Going to Be?" The brain behind this is whenever we meet anybody, talking to them, asking questions, who are you going to be or what do you want to be? Majority will just go straight to telling you, I want to become a doctor, I want to become an engineer, I want to become a lawyer, and all. But then they've forgotten that everything that has to do with what they want to be are those little things that they will meet on the way going to where they actually want to be. Just like traveling from here to Abuja, you are going to, obviously, traffic, you get tired, you have to stop by at some point before you can continue your journey. These are the little challenges, the challenges you are going to face while pursuing your dream. How will you feel? How will you respond to all those challenges? These are the things that define us. It doesn't matter your grade, what you have, how brilliant you can be, or how intelligent you are. What matters, what really matters there is how you react to every of those things that comes across the way. You can agree with me that we all need these skills called resilience. If you are not resilient, you will not have that zeal to push forward. If you get tired easily, you can't continue to push forward. That is why I would say resilience and conscientiousness is also as important to us as a student and to us as an individual. It's very, very important to us as our intelligence and our test scores are also important to us. And you can agree with me, there is this Yoruba adage that says, Omotoba maga, ese matiri. That simply means you are going to face a lot of difficulties while going to that very top. You just need to be ready to face them and fight them. Fighting them, standing up against them, and dealing with all those problems accordingly. Dr. Martin Luther King said, Jr., he said, you don't get to the promised land without going through wilderness. It is a life constant. You must agree with that. So I want to say Jazakumullah khairan for giving me the opportunity to share the insight behind what I wrote. Jazakumullah khairan.
Jazakumullah khairan for that amazing speech. So please, we'll call. Hold on for me, please. All right, so can you guys hear me now? All right, so we'll call upon Sister Amdala Antonio to please give us a presentation. Please.
Okay. Talking about the theme of the magazine, living above the bottom line. For me, okay, let me talk as from the perspective of a student, like living above the bottom line, we know it means different people to different, it means different things to different people. But literally for me, I would say it means making use of what you have to get what you want in a positive way or positively. So living above the bottom line is just for us to, like as a student, for us to manage our time, make good use of our time, then for us to practice our faith. And we all know as students that we don't have enough time to do things, probably because of our busy schedule, work, and long hours in class. But then we should always strive, like, to find time to keep ourselves on the track. So I would say it is an avenue for us to build ourselves spiritually if we work with the right people. And as students, we should try and like engage ourselves more with MSSN activities, because we have so many activities on campus, like our usual tutorials, if section and the likes. So living above the bottom line for me is just for us to please Allah in all forms. And I know after pleasing Allah, the next gift we have is Jannah. It's first the attainment of Jannah. So just my own understanding of living above the bottom line. And I pray to Allah to grant each and every one of us Jannah, to accept all our endeavors as an act of ibadah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Ameen wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thanks for that very short and insightful presentation. So we'll move on to the next person, Sister Lawal Simbiat. Sister Lawal Simbiat, please kindly give us the presentation in 2 minutes. Thank you. Sister Lawal Simbiat on the call. Can anyone please confirm that?
Let's move on. It's not on the call.
All right. So on that note, we would like to reach out to the technical team if they are ready to take us through the process of accessing the magazine.
Yeah, I'll do that. We are ready.
All right. So, okay. All right. So please, you have the floor.
Is someone making a noise? Can someone please like mute himself? I don't know. Technical team, please check this. Brother Abi, please drop off your presentation, please. Yeah, so basically, to get an e-copy of the magazine is very, very simple and direct. We've tried to ensure that it is highly accessible to everyone who needs an e-copy of the magazine. Yeah, and the magazine is one that, although those who have interest in getting an hard copy can kindly reach out to any of the executives. And there is an interest form that has been going on for some days now regarding if you want to get an hard copy of the magazine. So that's still very active. Just get to fill the interest form. Tell us what exactly you need. Is it an hard copy? Yeah, so once we receive your response, we'll get in touch and would revert the price of the magazine to you. Currently, we don't have an estimated price yet for the magazine. Reason being that we want to create more persons to grow interest in getting an hard copy. So the more the numbers, the cheaper the price. So we can't give an estimate yet, but be very sure that we are trying to work with the best possible price range to get a copy of the magazine. Yeah, so but for the e-copy, the moment we we end this session, everyone would get an e-copy of the magazine, and you can as well get to download it. Currently, the MSN website is live, and you can just go to msnlasuepe.com.ng/magazine. So once you click on this URL, the next thing you get to see is you are taken to the MSSN page. Yeah, so you can navigate the page to probably see more features. But if you're concerned about the magazine, here is the page for the magazine. Once you click on the download button, so it takes you to the, I think I have that downloaded here. I want to get this off my bot. Yeah, so this is the copy of the magazine. So here you can see the copy. It's just 109 pages, and this is what it looks like currently. So this is the guide, this is the cover page, the content, the chapters, the Amir remark, the Amira's speech. So from the editors, you get to view all that you need to see. So it's 109 page, and we are so elated that very soon it will go live and we can get to download it. I really urge us all to get to download it and grab some content from the magazine. Assimilate it well, try to create time to read it, and be kind enough to send your remarks. We would really appreciate that equally. Kindly send your remarks, and we would look forward to getting your remarks. So Jazakumullah khair, and I hope that would do for now. Yeah. So we want to probably manage them as quick as possible. Thank you. Salam alaikum.
Walaikum salam wa barakatuh. So Sister Fadila, on to you.
Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh. We thank the Almighty Allah for a successful magazine launch. Thank you for making it possible. We've been planning this for a semester now, and even though the time elapsed past what we originally thought it would, but alhamdulillah that everything eventually unfolded as it should have. Thank special acknowledgement to the previous Amir 2021 academic session, 2021 academic session, Ido Sadiq, and the editor, Brother Abdulhamid Otunbanjo, and of course our keynote speaker and all our esteemed guests. Thank you very much for making it a success. I think now we all know what living up. We all have an idea of what living above the bottom line entails, and we can go on to read the magazines, get even clearer insights. Thank you all for coming. Assalamu alaikum wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So on that note, I would call upon Brother Mukhtar Adinawo to kindly give us a closing prayer before we end the session. Brother Mukhtar Adinawo. Please kindly unmute yourself.
I think Stamela has done that already. Stamela has done that already. She gave the closing remark. Am I mistaken?
Yeah, I said prayer, no closing remark.
Okay. Yeah, so the link to download is on the chat box. We can get to download the magazine now. Yeah.
I guess Brother Mukhtar cannot unmute himself. So on that note, we would like to appeal to everybody to jointly recite Surah Al-Asr, serve as a prayer to end this session, inshallah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Wa al-asr, innal insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu salihah, wa tawassaw bil haqq, wa tawassaw bis sabr. Subhana rabbika rabbil izzati amma yasifun, wa salamun ala al-mursalin, walhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Sallu ala imamil mujahideen. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Jazakumullah khairan, everyone.
Assalamu alaikum. So before we all end the session, we want to hear from the coordinator of Kwai. He's an extinguished individual, and we really want to hear something from him before we close the session. Please, coordinator, we would like to hear from you.
Okay. Brother Beatrice is fine. Alaikum salam to Allah wa barakatuh. There's a big noise from the background.
So I hope you are hearing me loud and clear.
We can hardly hear you because of the noise from the background.
Okay, what of at present?
Okay, we can hear you faintly, but the noise overwhelming.
Okay, yeah. Okay, just try to hear. So, I appreciate every one of us for joining this program. It's an indeed a kind flowing session. Being present in this first edition of the magazine. I hope it's better now. So yeah, these are one of those reasons why we acknowledge MSSN LASU-EPE as our best school in Dubai, and I could really see the amazing things that have been doing over time since the discussion of studies is important. And I hope, inshallah, Rasta and Abuja will also continue from where he has stopped. And I want this to be an opportunity for other meals that are present on this call also to look at this ingenuity, to also include it to their own programs. And these are one of the goals that we are setting for ourselves. Let people know us very much better. We should not just be in our doors or our halls of our various schools. If we are having programs and people are not seeing our ingenuity, our intellectual capacity outside there. So I want to sincerely appreciate those teams that come up with this idea and they were able to achieve it. And I must apologize also. I know I was reached out to for a ride or for a session like that, and I couldn't make it because of my little busy schedule. And I also want to advise, I don't know why we didn't have our members here. We have Ismail here and other members that are expected to also donate and something. We should not assume that they are students. So I think for my own part, I'm going to donate 5,000 naira to support the magazine. So and I want the Amils to also call those Amils that are present here, Brother Yakin and others. They should also at least support the magazine with one or two kind. And I'm pretty sure that this is not stop here and other schools also are emulating from it. For the little time. And I ask Allah for that to reward us. Assalamu
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan for that speech. We really appreciate you. May Allah continue to bless you. Now, and as regards the donation from our esteemed past Amirs as well, I believe the former Amir, those who the commentator would see to that. And the time is fast spent. I don't know if you can still do that now, but I'm sure it's going to reach out to each and every one of them individually. And I'm certain as well that they will all make their commitment as well. Now, Jazakumullah khairan to everybody. Jazakumullah khairan to the organizers of this event and to the editor and to the editor committee. Did I get it right? To the editor board or something. Yeah, I think so. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. We say a big thank you to you all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikum salam wa rahmatullahi
wa barakatuh. Masalam.
Waalaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Waalaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khairan.
I'm no side. Assalamualaikum. Ismail.
Waalaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Sheikh Musa, reunion lele yo.
Musa, assalamualaikum.
Reunion lele yo.
Waalaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Apa láti Kano.
Bàbá ẹjọ́ jẹ́ kí Bùdó sọ̀rọ̀ yìí mo fẹ́ gbọ́ Jazakumullah khairan yẹn.
Jazakumullah khairan jazaa.
Kama jaza li awali.
Baba.
You don't leave, Baba.
We don't move. I don't know.
Stop recording you. Stop recording you. Stop recording you.
Allah Akbar. Allah Akbar. Mo ti wọlé yà. Mo ti pẹ́.
Aha. I don't know about you.
Ẹ̀yin bàbá wa nílọrin akínyìn o. Sheikh Mute akínyìn o. Sheikh Budo akínyìn o. Sheikh Kọ́ọ̀dì
Gàdújẹ nǹkan.
Budoli bàbá.
ABJ bàbá akínyìn o.
Budoli bàbá.
Yà mí o, yà mí o. Lẹ́wọ̀n tó gbogbo ẹ̀. Lẹ́wọ̀n tó àdàjẹ́.
Àwẹ̀rẹ̀sì o. Ẹ̀rọ àbá. Ẹ̀kọ́ lè ṣe náà. Kọ́lọ́ gba lẹ́sìn. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay.